this start here today. Again, it's James Fox's first mini start of the 2025 season. Talk James Fox assess a little bit, but when it comes to him, one of the drivers that's competed at Daytona Kart Week, and part of his experiences so far, amongst those that also are one of the few that we've seen pop up a fair bit in general in terms of the top of the board. So far, we've seen some blistering speed from James up front. So, again, for those just tuning in, we are in the midst of our mini races for Indy Karting Challenge. We apologize for any technical issues here for K1 Circuit Whiteland, as we are currently in the midst of a race between Fox, Martinez, and Hendrickson up at the front of the field. Sabanella and Jessup have lost touch to the rest of the pack here in this one. Hendrickson on the boost, goes for the push on Martinez. No place to go as they head to Daytona.
Yeah, he was stuck right there, had no room to work with, has to find a way to back it down and get himself reset to go for the run in there on second place. Martinez, though, goes on the defensive as they enter into turn one. Good pace there as they try to negotiate through the corners, and so far, Hendrickson just struggling to find where he needs to get that pass.
Yeah, just keeps reaching him in the middle sector, right in an area where you just can't pass. Quite simply. Every time just closes up to the rear end, then is forced to just push back of his corners a little bit, hope for a place to poke, reaches back in again, forced to check up, resets it again for the quick left, right, essentially, and then loses all the ground yet again by the time they get to the passing areas. So it's got to be a little bit frustrating as a driver to know you have the speed, especially since his best lap is about 3/4 tenths quicker than what he's been able to run in the traffic so far. The thing is, though, Fox is still the fastest car on the racetrack. It wouldn't be enough to catch the leader as we see some of the other drivers as they go.
Absolutely. I mean, Fox is just continuing to set fast pace after fast pace. A 5, almost 6-second lead over Martinez. Hendrickson has already fallen off the pace from second, as well as he now gets back on the gas and just, it's right there where he gets off corner exit off that hairpin. Is such an incredible run, but like you said, has nowhere to go. There's really no opening for him to make that pass.
Just nothing doing in the midst of this fight right now as they reach the flag stand, coming to 2 laps to go now. This time through, a little bit of a poke. Hendrickson trying to take a flatter line. Now he takes an arrow run to the left, has to go back out to the right, tries to get a cut. Still covered off by Martinez through the corners as they come on through. Martinez has done a really good job just planning himself around the champion for this series. Just doing what he needs to do. Run laps. Same for Fox, who is upwards now, leading by 6+ seconds. For the rest of the field, 2 laps to go for James Fox.
James Fox, I mean, what can we say about this young man? Incredible pace that he has, incredible skills. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do in 2026, as well as for the rest of today's action. I mean, we know he's going to come out in the sportsman and cadet categories as well later on today, because he's going to go for that championship and be possibly a double champion in this category at IKC. And I got to say, incredible skills, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Incredible driving today from Fox on debut in the class, but the rest of the field coming up to the white flag with them, this time by Martinez, holding serve for second spot on the racetrack. It's the final lap for the 12. Fox just needs to keep it on the racetrack to be able to celebrate his first heat victory in a mini for him here today. All that's while Martinez continues to now hold on to the bumper. Hendrickson has now lost ground in the corners, has now been able to gain back some of the ground that he had earlier on in the run to have a chance to strike for that spot. Fox in his blue and white kart, though, ready to roll out of the final corners. It's James Fox who puts on a clinic and runs away with his first heat race win in a mini of 2025. The micro champion gets it done by what is 6.2 seconds. Martinez and Hendrickson, followed by Simonic and Jessup, your top 5, Taylor.
Incredible drive for each one of these drivers here. Martinez and Hendrickson have some work to do, and I gotta say, I'm pretty sure they're looking at how 2026 is going to go and realize they got to deal with James Fox in this category, and that's going to shake up the chances of them going for a championship with skills like what James Fox is doing.
Absolutely here. We'll see how things are in the final later. He's able to double it. Senior medium is next. Levi Wilbur amongst those directing traffic. Braden Heber in second. Evan McCorkindale, Lucian Laser trying to figure things out on his espionage card real quickly. With Derek Hastings in the top 5. Toward Devan in 6th position. Nick Patton, Eric Spilling, top 8. Nostman and Goldman are your top 10 for this class here today. The rest of the field, how are they sorted out? Well, 11th goes the way of Jake Meldrum. You also have Gavin Haltom. Adam Maxwell actually got no time. He got a disqualification in the qualifying session today in the mediums. He too ended up being late on the scales here. So a few people getting naughty with how much weight their carts have here today.
Absolutely. Kind of impressive, or kind of crazy to see that that's going to be the case so far for some of our drivers. I would not expect that, as well as they open the gates and release the carts out onto the circuit to get set for their heat race.
So they'll warm up the tires for the next couple laps. Once again, Wilbur, he's been quick here today, but we know Braden Heber going to have to fight hard for that championship, especially with this point circumstances here today. Evan McCorkindale coming off the win last time out, right on his tail here, Taylor. It's going to be important for the 8 to outscore that 19 in this heat. Even though it's a minimum amount of point difference, helps set up something, anything for the final.
What Heber needs to do is make sure he finishes ahead of McCorkindale every race that he races in today, here and in the final, to guarantee his chances of a championship, and hope that Levi Wilbur doesn't go and win both races, honestly, because that would also cause a little bit of a shakeup as well. So he's got to make sure, pretty much, go out there and win.
That's the most simple thing here. Who else do you think will disrupt things today?
Looking through the field right now, Illusion Laser could provide a little bit of chaos, I have to say, in the chance for a run and a possible podium finish in this pre-final event. But we know how well McCorkindale, Heber, and Wilbur are, and those three, once they get together, they try to do well to try to pull away from the rest of the competition.
The field will get ready to double up here. So we are just about set to go. One more time on the order. Wilbur and Heber on the front row. Heber will start from the outside. Wilbur on the inside, of course. And Corkindale and Laser going to be right behind on the order. Just about set to go here. We're ready to go racing for 206 Senior Medium. Third heat race. Ready to rumble. Head up to the trampolines and get ready to see who comes out on top here. Green flag is out. We're underway for 206 Medium. Heber already falls down to third to start things off. It's already McCorkindale amongst those able to get a charge. Oh, wow. Heber goes back to the inside, side by side for second.
Incredible run right there by those drivers of Heber as he does what he needs to do. But here comes a couple of other drivers as trouble further back. Multiple carts spin around. They are able to gather it back up and continue on. But Heber and Wilbur continue to try to work their way through and leading the train as they come up to the Daytona. Heber in second, Wilbur in the lead right now as McQuirkadale has fallen significantly, almost outside the top 5.
He was one of those drivers who just got loose going into the infield section. It's dropped him all the way down to the 8th position as already things have changed up at the front a fair bit. Right now, Meldrum, for some reason, scored up front. It's Wilbur and Heber who are 1 and 2 at the moment as they roll.
Heber now trying to sling his way in a little bit closer into this competition as Laser sits in 3rd position. This is what we needed to see here for Heber against McQuirkadale. I mean, Heber needed to have some bad luck happen. McQuirkadale now has quite a bit of work to do to try and close up that gap, but he's running out of options and running out of time as he tries to keep on and work his way through.
Yeah, that's going to be the most difficult part here in all of this is trying to find a way around here to get max points here. But the max points you can get in a heat race is 50. It's 1 point on, it's rather 5 points back the separation for second to 45. And then goes down single points the rest of the order downward for this race. So there is that little bit of distinction to keep in mind here today for the points tallies for separation in the standings. That's why it's so important for Heber to at least get himself over the front where it's not going to be a minimal pickup. But Corkindale's already picked himself up to 5th position, mind you. That's how much that separation is shrinking with the way the 19 is pushing hard in the heart of the field and setting the fastest lap times by upwards of a second to the leader and up to 4/10 quicker than those running in the main pack.
As we watch our way through, but McQuirkadale is making a charge, an incredible drive here. That's what he needs to do. He needs to dig deep. He's got a little bit of time to try and at least catch up to Derek Hastings right now. He's 0.6 of a second behind and closing. And with a pace like he's doing right now, that's what is going to be in his favor as Levi Wilbur starting to stretch out the race lead over Braden Heber.
Starting to get the yardstick out, to say the very least, on the racetrack here, as Meldrum just got him scoring corrected down to the back of the field. Originally had been at the top of the board, but looking like some drivers happen to let by lap traffic. Lap traffic for the first time, that is Meldrum, who is letting the leaders on by cordially. No issues on the holdup, as the speed picks up to the 49 flats with the pole from the lap traffic for Wilbur there. Still have a couple laps before we get to the end of the timer here. Right now, McCorkindale continuing his push through the field here. He's done a really good job recovering the points so far in his situation. He's right behind drivers like Laser. He's right behind Hastings, who's in a battle right now. A lot of squabbling going on in that grouping, in fact, as some of those drivers look to try and see if they can cover off the 19 side by side. This is for 3rd. Laser. Drop on behind McCorkindale as McCorkindale goes up to the top 3.
How about this drive by Evan McCorkadale, and still has room to work with at least 3 laps to try and see if he can close the gap up. It's 5 seconds, but if he can find that little bit of help from Laser along with Derek Hastings, that could help them at least close the gap a little bit to make that run.
And just a touch bit here, but right now, I think at this point, it's about getting the points and then maximizing for the feature race at this point. Clock reaches zeros this time through on the board. Right now, boards are showing 3 laps to go, but it was close to get the 2 lap to go mark. In fact, for some of those drivers around the racetrack. So believe we're going to go for 3. We'll see for confirmation when they get to the flag stand here as they look to try and battle it out right now for third step of the podium for this heat race.
Hastings trying to put a little bit more pressure on the driver of McCorkadale. Really good run through there as they enter into the hairpin, keeping up, but he just can't seem to find that opening that he needs, like we've been seeing all weekend long. As we pick up our race leader of Levi Wilbur, heading towards the start finish line, he should be getting 2 laps to go, which he does, as he continues to lead the charge 1.6 seconds ahead of Braden Heber.
Levi Wilbur just able to control this entire race here today, to say the very least. That's been the thing we've seen from the 506 since qualifying, now with the 2 to go mark. Now, it's the matter of seeing where things go with Hastings here, closing right up to the back of McCorkadale. His red-suited machine looking for a way to pounce. The slower section of McCorkadale, though, able to get a little bit more speed on the teeth of the gearing. Right now has been able to build a buffer. Hastings to the bumper. Ends up losing ground, coming up to the white flag this time by. Final time around for Wilbur.
Levi Wilbur continues to lead the charge by 1.7 seconds. I mean, Heber has had some good pace, but the problem is Wilbur has just been continuously, consistently faster and faster lap after lap. An incredible drive that we're seeing coming out of the 506 machine of Levi Wilbur.
Yep, and now, as they make their way on through, we get ready to see the 506 celebrate a pretty dominant win here in the heat race. Checker flag, Levi Wilbur. He gets the victory, gets it done with minimal fall off. Brandon Heber, Evan McCorkadale, Derek Hastings, Lucian Laser, your top 5. Field continues to shuffle its way through with Nostman, Maxwell, Patton, the man along with Spilling in your top 10, Taylor. Good race. Good recovery for the 19.
Absolutely. That is what helps save his chances, because if he finished 8th or outside of the top 3, that pretty much would have been game over for him, and as far as a hunt for the championship against Braden Heber, unless something detrimental happened to Heber in the final event later on. But it's now time to go out and release the 206 juniors onto the circuit.
They're lined up with like this here today. Jordan Lapham starts on the pole for the juniors today. Then Seva Kumar will start in second. Parker Dunn, Nico Santos, top 4. Tower Nash Turner, alongside Nolan Wade. Then it's Maximus Stewart will start, Stewart should say, alongside Maxon Klebe. Then Will Feitinger. Feitinger will start next to Emmett King. The last driver of the field is Bentley McCann. Start the tail. Look top to bottom at the running order here today, Taylor, as Jordan Lapham looks to try and get himself a clean run today. Junior class, and looks to make sure he gets himself a championship over that 7.
Gonna try everything he can. Lapham, Dunn are really gonna fight it out quite well here in your 206 junior category, but keep an eye on Lucian Laser as well, along with the rest of the field as they release the drivers. Nolan Wade also has a little bit of work to do if he wants to try and challenge for a top 3 finish in the championship.
So time to warm up their tires here in this one. Who are you watching out for the most for the race itself here, Taylor, to battle for this race lead?
Well, I mean, Parker Dunn and Jordan Latham are right there, going to be lined up nose to tail when we go set for the green flag here today. That, I think, is where I'm going to see how they manage going into turn 1, who's going to be a little more aggressive, who's going to fight their way and try to work in to that position and take control of the opening lap. Juju Sivakumar, I say keep an eye on him. He may try something here. He's not in contention for a championship, but still wants to go out there and go for the win.
That's the big thing, absolutely, when it comes to this type of action. And now we look to see how things go here in this one next time by. They should grid up to start things off here today for this field. By the way, checking in on how things have gone on the Whiteland side of things for some of the people on the festivities side of the racetrack. A lot of people here at the racetrack ready to have some excitement. What did you do for Halloween yesterday? I'm surprised we don't see people in costumes today.
Well, pretty much got myself dressed up, took a couple of family pictures, and then enjoyed the rest of the night staying in. Of course, watching the NASCAR Championship weekend with the trucks, along with watching a couple of movies.
Someone's going to need to hope for a little bit more in terms of their film. Will Feitinger is stuck in the grass. Not the way they wanted things to go here, absolutely. The field, the rest of it at least, is coming up to the start zone so the 151 will throw away the run here for this heat. Everybody else battles it out. We're underway as Lapham gets himself covered off, going into the opening corners here, already single file for the top 5 positions as they make their way through.
Feitinger and company already leading the charge as they work their way up through into the infield section of the circuit. Nose to tail, no one really giving an inch here as they try to get those carts wound up. A couple of carts going side by side for positioning as they come out of the hairpin, but Parker Dunn and company really putting the pressure on as they lead the charge up to Daytona.
Everyone making their way on through here as they work their way down the racetrack first times through. Parker Dunn, in fact, up in front on the scoring, but for how long? They're swapping back and forth. Back and forth they go with Lapham on the racetrack as they continue to fight it out. Sivakumar amongst those shuffled already, side by side again for the race lead, back and forth between Lapham and Dunn. They battle as well for third. Battles everywhere, Taylor. It's like Toy Story.
It certainly is as we watch the action as they go nose to tail. A little of a back bumper push right there from Jordan Latham and Parker Dunn as they try to work their way through. Latham leading the charge right now as Parker Dunn tries to get back up in front of the field as they get some separation from Juju Sivakumar with Turner and Santos, those three working together.
Yep, all of them making their way down the front straightaway once again. 3 minutes or so on the clock to work with. Battle for third. Nash Turner just took away the third spot. Santos crosses them up. Back and forth those drivers go. They'll cost themselves time. All while the top 2 tries to stretch it out. Lapham already up by 5 car lengths. Then you have Dunn, who is up by additional 7, up to the rest of the main pack here. 2 your championship contenders trying to plant their staple to the rest of this track right now as you take a look at those drivers in the pack. Everyone else just lined up, ducks in a row, trying to figure out a way to jump lily pads like frogs.
Well, you don't want to jump too many lily pads because then you're going to allow your main position to get away from you. So you got to try to be patient and when to make the passes as well. Usually we'll see that happening corner entry. Maybe if you get a good run off corner exit, go for it. But right now, they are focused in on trying to catch up to your race leader because Parker Dunn is actually losing pace to Jordan Latham and falling into the clutches of Turner and Santos, who are working together. We got a pass for position for the 5th spot as Wade will get around Max Sinclair for the 5th spot entering in.
Some interesting things going on when it comes to the intervals, to say the very least, but All that being said here, as we keep an eye on the other pack here, things are getting tight for some of these battles here. Nash Turner has closed right up to Parker Dunn. He's taking second, crossed over by Dunn. Dunn covers him off. Dunn able to get back up to second. Nash Turner has been pushing hard here. Now we'll have to do it all over again as he closes up to the rear end, going to the infield.
Dunn's get a great run here as he tries to hold off the rest of the field. And so far, Nash Turner, I got to say, has had some incredible pace so far. In fact, he's continuing to drop fast time after fast time. He's 1.8 seconds back. Don't know if he can try to get around Jordan Latham or catch him before the end of the race, but he is in contention to get that second spot away from Parker Dunn, which could help or hinder Parker Dunn's chances of going for that championship.
Yeah, could be a bit important for the point standings. Absolutely here with this battle with Nash Turner. Nash Turner hugging around the inside. Dunn forced the outside this time. Dives it through the Rhino liner. Gets it to cut. He's got the preferred groove to move to the infield. Let go by Nash Turner as a result of that sequence. Nash Turner now tries the outside instead. Forced to check up. Ran over by Santos. They all stack up as they come up to about 2 laps to go this time through. Yes, indeed, they will. As the clock reaches zeros, double sticks should be coming up. They are coming up here for the field.
Parker Dunn under immense pressure as they head into turn one. Here comes Turner to the bottom, makes the pass, but Dunn is not done with him yet. He'll try to cross him over into turn number 2, and he gets the advantage just for a moment as they snake their way through. A couple of other drivers jockeying for position. Crossover move there for Turner to get the spot back away from Parker Dunn. Meanwhile, Santos and Wade will battle for that 4th spot as they snake their way into the infield.
Back and forth, they continue to squabble in the heart of the field. Some sliding, some drivers cutting the grass, and a spinner. A spin right into the path of the field will cost one driver all their spots coming to the white flag lap this time through, while everybody else looks to just survive. Coming up to the white flag this time through, final time around, as they come on through with Lapham, Nash, Turner, Santos, then Seward with Wade dropping a 5th.
How about Parker Dunn, unfortunately, dropping all the way to 10th position? That will put him out of contention. Actually, he's not moving right now. He is done. And unfortunately, that will give the chance for drivers, basically for Jordan Latham, to take home this championship.
Yeah, that's going to open things up for Lapham, absolutely, in the point standings. Going to be a swing that will make it very difficult for recovery at this point for the title fight. Depending on, say, if it ends up being the drop for Dunn as well. But now white flag waves for some of the drivers here with Lapham coming around. So we go on through with Lapham up by 7 seconds, in fact, on the interval for the final time around.
Jordan Latham just doing what he needs to do in order to secure a championship, hitting his marks, staying out of trouble, and making sure you bring home that kart in one piece as they work their way around the circuit for the final time. And Jordan Latham is just one step closer from winning the 206 Junior Championship.
Now the checker flag waves. You have a black flag also furled out, though. Latham gets the checkered in front. 6.9 seconds up over Nash Turner. Santos let's get himself 3rd. Wade King, the top 5, as Stewart drops down the order. Sivakumar jumps to 6th. Cleveland 7th. Stewart gets 8th. Feitinger recovers up to 9th. McCann in 10th in the DNF for Parker Dunn. Could be a championship decider. We'll have to see where things lay in a bit here. Still leaves us with 2 more heat races before we take a bit of a break in the schedule. It's the Legends and Supermasters with J. Brian Williams and Tom Harleman up front. William McLaughlin rode to a Danny Cutshaw, Chad Keenan, Tom Stevens, Joseph Stevens, and Richard Lemasters. That's followed by Chris Whitaker, and Mark Cirk is a part of the drivers on the registry list. We didn't see that machine out for the qualifying session, though. We'll see they come out here today. That 4 machine was a DNS earlier on, with the time difference 9 seconds in the qualifying session. Your thoughts on this race here, Taylor, as this field gets ready to roll?
I mean, Brian Williams is looking forward to putting on another dominating effort here today. McLaughlin also, but I have to say, keep an eye on Tom Harleman and Danny Cutshaw. I have a feeling they may try something here or there to keep the battle for the race lead and the wins today interesting. It's just a matter of how aggressive they will be on the start of the race. As there you see your Legends champion, Brian Williams, leading the charge. Right behind him, your soon-to-be champion of the Supermasters of William McLaughlin.
Yep, all the drivers, I think, waiting for some pickup. That might be part of the sequence here. Remember with Parker Dunn following on the last race. So all the drivers remaining very patient before they get themselves out of the gates here and get themselves the chance to roll. For those here at the facility here today, we hope you're enjoying the racing action here on Kart Chaser. As we continue on with IKC Racing for the final time in 2025.
Yeah,
everyone
also,
all bundled up with their jackets here today. I'm noticing you were saying, Taylor?
I was saying this is our final broadcast before the 28th Supernats as well. So pretty much after this, we'll have ourselves a little bit of about a week break. And then it's time for 5 days of action for the SCUSA Supernationals at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. They just revealed the track layout. And if you got the chance to see that, you're talking about a high-speed, high-chaos track that will provide some great action for this year's Supernats.
Yeah, Supernats is going to be an interesting time this year when we get to that point. So, for now, though, many of these drivers here in Whiteland, Indiana, just trying to get some hardware, finish up the campaign here. So go one more time before we go racing once again. Again, per our notes here, these drivers making sure they get the tires up to temperature. Also critical around this facility right now. So just about ready to rumble here today. Keep in mind, drivers weren't allowed either to screw up the tires on the grid itself. Of course, that is considered to be a dangerous thing for these drivers. So just about set to go here. What's the approach going to be? How do you try and win this one, Taylor, if you're not at the front?
Well, you got to hope for a mistake to happen from either Brian Williams or McLaughlin. I mean, you're talking about the two most dominant drivers in these two respective classes. I mean, Cutshaw has to be aggressive. Harleman will have to be aggressive on this start, get those elbows out if they want to have a chance of going for the race win in this pre-final event.
Just about ready to go here today for this field. So we are ready to see how well these drivers battle it out for this class. If you're enjoying the racing action, be sure to wave hello on our broadcast here today. We are keeping an eye on those feeds. See what that feedback is like from you, the fans, and from potentially those here at the facility. But these drivers will come up to the green flag here. Green, green, green. And we're underway for Legends and Supermasters. And the outside gets the start that they're looking for. Tom Harleman with the boost to begin.
Great drive right there for Tom Harleman to continue on with this run as he will lead the charge down the back straightaway. But let's see what Brian Williams can do. Can he hunt him down for this run as they head into the infield section over towards the hairpin? Great jump right there as that orange machine of Harleman leads the charge. Cutshaw ahead of McLaughlin briefly here in these opening laps.
Already the orange helmet starts to try and become the orange blur up at the front of the field. Everybody's starting to have some staggering out as Harleman in the Legends class holds on. Danny Cutshaw is actually the class leader for the Super Legends to begin things, though, in his red machine. So Cutshaw got a really good start to this race, say the very least, to be able to pass by who's been in control all season, McLaughlin. The top two in the Legends. Now we get the boost away from each other. Keep an eye on McLaughlin also staying within the kart length, though, of Cutshaw. Big differences up at the front. J. Brian Williams trying to find a way to dig, and close up this deficit here. Remember him this season when it comes to this class. J. Brian Williams trying to keep up what is a 5-race sweep streak of the races.
I wonder if someone would put a bounty on Brian J. Williams for this race win because of how dominant he is. Cutshaw still holds on to the position in the race lead in Supermasters, but McLaughlin is starting to close in and make the charge here. He's got also Tom Stevens in the Legends category right behind them. This is a good opportunity for McLaughlin to get a good run out of that corner heading into the infield section as they enter the braking zone. Not close enough to try anything, but gets the power down off corner exit. He'll look to the insides and now backs off a little bit. Surprising he didn't try to go for the pass going into the hairpin.
Just a little bit there, but it is difficult to pass in that section today. Now he tries to pass out of Daytona. He went to the grass to make the move. A little bit sticky there to try and make that in that sequence. Brian Williams, though, he's over the rear end of Harleman. Looking this up the diamond, coming up through 2-3. Will he take it from the outside? He'll try, gets covered up by the 18.
Harleman doing everything he can to hold off the charge of Brian Williams. This is what we talked about. Has to be aggressive, has to be ready to take the fight and not make Williams try and get around the easy way. You got to work for this, and Harleman is going to do everything he can to make sure that Brian J. Williams works for this race win in this pre-final event. As they climb up the banking, Harleman gets a great run off corner exit, has about a 2-kart length advantage as they come on the front straightaway.
That advantage still sticking with about 95 seconds to work with on the clock here. Meanwhile, McLaughlin is in the background making the move right now on Cutshaw. Cutshaw just trying to hold on and be able to steal some points there in that class. That has not changed, though. McLaughlin couldn't make the move, and Cutshaw now has the buffer. McLaughlin feeling pressure for one of the Stevens instead.
Steven and McLaughlin are trying to work together. A little tap of the helmet right there from Cutshaw, like, hey, I want to race. But as we say this, we go back up to the front of the field as Harleman starting to deal with some more pressure from Brian Williams, who is starting to close back in with under a minute plus 2 laps to go.
You have all of them trying to go and find a way to make passes late here. Right now, Harleman continuing to play shower and shower lines. Here comes the dive. J. Brian Williams goes for the race lead. Crossed over by Harleman. Harleman with the crossover back.
Harleman is doing exactly what he needs to do and putting on a show, but here comes Williams to the inside. They'll try to drag race down into the hairpin. Williams gives them room, lets Harleman have the position for the moment, but what will Williams, as they come out of the infield section onto the banking, do? He's going to stay tucked up behind that number 18 machine, try to go to a little bit higher line on the banking to build some momentum and charge as they come onto the front stretch with 2 to go.
2 laps to go on the timing beacons as here we go again. A move to the inside. no cut, as once again, Harleman holds on. Cutshaw got the advantage over McLaughlin again, but only just by a tenth in the other pack for those curious on the Supermasters lead. The Legends continuing to battle it out as we go here. Looking to close on up quickly as J. Brian Williams trying to set up one more chance to be able to make a pass here in the final stages of this race. Coming around towards the final laps of this event for the heat race. Oh, and look at the J. Brian Williams. He tried to use the high side to get a big run. Didn't work.
And with that, that's going to cost him big time. Look at the gap now, just over a second. As Williams is running out of options, he lost significant time there. He's got to gather it back up. Meanwhile, Tom Stevens has gotten around, and he is leading in the Supermasters divisions as Cutshaw and company try to work their way through and hold off Chad King. What happened to William McLaughlin? He fell all the way back to 6th overall, 4th in class.
Yeah, interesting to say the very least. What happened in the background for the 56? That's going to be interesting for later on amongst the Supermasters. But all that's with us coming up to the final stretch for Harleman and J. Brian Williams. More sense right now for the recovery from McLaughlin. Up at the front, they come up to the checker flag here. Checker flag waves. Harleman holds on. No, he does not. It's J. Brian Williams. He was able to take away the race lead. Instead, J. Brian Williams takes it away by 2/10. Tom Stevens in third, Danny Cutshaw fourth, McLaughlin the top five.
How about Danny Cutshaw getting the win there in that positioning? Or actually, Tom Stevens getting the win in Supermasters. Incredible drive for him. Congratulations to him. And we'll see how the rest of it works out in the feature race today.
An interesting end to the race, to say the very least. J. Brian Williams able to come away with the race win in the end after all those laps, instead of Tom Harleman for just about the entire time. But it changes all on the final lap for the Legends and Supermasters run through. That leaves us one more heat race left on the docket this morning. It's KA Senior and KA Masters. Braden Rudder took the upset for the pole, able to take it away in the final seconds earlier on today. That then seen AJ Lund, followed by Christopher Yotze, Adam Maxwell and Ryan Mort, Lucian Laser, Levi Wilbur, and Dane Van Dyke the top 8. Mason Ward starts 9th with Abram Dean in 10th. Macy Gallion will start in 11th. She'll start next to Lane Gibbs. Raider Santos and Tower Sims 13th, 14th. Kevin Seminowick and Cooper Adar, should say, towards the tail end of the field is how they will line up here today, top to bottom, on that run through for their respective class here today. So your thoughts on this race coming up here, especially with the different pole sitter than what we normally have seen throughout the season in this class? Ready to roll here in KA Senior competition.
Well, all I can say is AJ Lund got a little bit of competition here. I mean, you have an MPG versus a Top Kart up there at the front of the field, and those are the two rivals in the KA category, Top Kart and MPG. So I gotta say, keep an eye on these two because they're gonna put on one heck of a fight here in this pre-final.
So overall, how do you see this battle play out? You were expecting a heck of a fight, as you said, but how do you see the battles going itself? How do you set up these passes here amongst these drivers for this race?
Well, I mean, it all starts on the opening run and going into turn one, trying to make sure you either are hugging that inside line, making sure everyone has to go around the outside of you, which can be doable, but not easy to do on opening laps, and then try to be a little more aggressive going into the infield section, getting to the inside, shoving the nose in if you want to have this chance of winning your heat race here today.
So it's time for them to warm up their tires and see how things go. Again, believe everybody today is a KA senior, possibly. Oh, we have one driver in the barrier already. Already a disastrous start for one of our drivers, to say the least. They'll scramble to get that kart rolling here. Going to take a minute for them to be able to get up to speed, but everybody else able to warm up their tires at the least, and this is why it's so important. Make sure you get up to speed before you get to racing, because if you're not and your tires aren't up to temp, well, you go slide, or you run into each other like right there in the line.
Looking forward to seeing how this plays out amongst the KA senior drivers as they line themselves up. And I believe that was Cooper Adair who had trouble right there going off the track as everyone else works their way around to get their final formation lap in.
So we look to see where things shape up in the next moments or so, as I believe it was Lane Gibbs to confirm who had the issues, that he has fallen down the order from his original starting spot. Here's the driver stuck along the barriers. One more time, we look at that run through as Braden Rudder gets us control of the field, up at the front of the field today. We have not seen him in this series before, in 2025 at least. He has ran classes here at K1 Circuit Whiteland, though, in the past. Last year, ran some races, also made some appearances, Route 66 competition a couple years ago. So we'll see how he fares up at the front today. We're ready to go. Tram lines are ready. The field gets the green. It's the outside that gets the better launch. And we're underway as AJ London Company look to try and fight it out. All while they make their way through the course. Lund, I believe, holds on to second, in fact, with Rudder in the red machine up in front as they go their way to the infield.
Really good fight right there as Rudder and Lund try to break away from the competition. Maxwell and Yauzi are right there in third and fourth as a little bit of beating and banging on the back bumper of Lund as he wants to try to get around Rudder for the race lead. That's bringing in third and fourth. Don't forget Ryan Morton right there behind in fifth, leading that second group.
Yeah, a lot of squabbling for some of the drivers. Rudder is holding on for now, but he's having to play some defense already. AJ Lund trying to cross him up. Nearly went over the rear tire. Tries to hit him and squeeze him down. Lund keeps himself pinned to the inside as they head up to the back straightaway. Side by side still. Lund gets himself to the wheels, to the number. Gets himself past the door. It's AJ Lund who gets through with Maxwell up to second. Will that stick, though? No.
No, Rudder gets back into second place after getting around Maxwell and Yutzi right there as they make the run. That allows Lund to try and break away by about 2 or 3 kart lengths, and they slide their way in out of that final corner. Look how much those karts grip up here as it's now up to a 0.4 of a second gap as the pass for third, Yutzi to the inside of Maxwell to take over the spot.
Yeltsin trying to move himself forward. He's talked about his speed throughout the day so far. Has looked very solid in his start today. We have not seen Yeltsin make appearances here in 2025 either. This is a name we've seen at the national scene or in the higher regional races be competitive whenever he's made starts. He's also one of the drivers who has also appeared in the K100 Junior Kart. The Super Nats. That last year where he finished 56th. But Yunzi is up to third, all while Lund is starting to take off. By the way, Lane Gibbs gained 3 spots in a lap up to the top 10 on his recovery. Simonowic gained 2 along with Adar Mason Ward has had issues in his kart. He's fallen to the bottom. Ryan Mort has also plummeted down the order with issues.
Yeah, I think those two gotten together. Mason Ward is out of the race. You saw there on your screen as the officials, along with Ward, try to get that kart out of harm's way. And for Ryan Mort, who is having such a good run. Oh, trouble. Trouble for one of our drivers. That's Yauzi, who is having to raise his hand. He is having technical problems. He'll pull it off the track and continue on his way with 2 minutes to go. Meanwhile, Rudder trying to see if he can work with the rest of the field as Maxwell plummets down the running order. Yahtzee moves up to second as Lund has checked out.
Yeah, 44-2's up at the front of the field. Fastest car on the racetrack as they go. Yahtzee able to charge his way up into the top two. Impressive drive as there's the 880. That is Lucian Laser. He was running sixth. Who's now pulled to the side? It was a decent time for Laser. His laser pointer will have to go to the workshop though. Oh wow. Everybody else positions themselves here. Yahtzee right now is picking up steam with the pass made. Set his fastest lap of the race in the 44.4s. We'll see if he's going to be able to get to the same benchmark Lund is setting, though, to be able to give a true barometer for later on today.
How about Christopher Yahtzee with this incredible drive here today, getting around Braden Rudder right there, and is going to try to stretch out that race lead or that position for a few more tenths here with 40 seconds to go, plus an additional 2 laps. So you're looking at right around 3 laps to go for your leaders as they come across the line. And he sees AJ Lund set a track record, and just as I say that, Braden Rudder drops it down to a 44 flat just about. Incredible drive by your top 3 who are putting on a stellar fight. Hopefully we'll see that continue on as Abram Dean drops a couple of spots back after having some trouble. And they will continue to work their way around the circuit as they have quite a bit of cleanup to do for sure out on the circuit.
Good thing there's a 10-minute break right after this. There's plenty of time for them to get the pickup and get all those karts escorted off the racetrack after this race, at the very least. All is this, wow. We make our way on through, coming up to double sticks. 2 laps to go up in the air for AJ Lund. Yahtzee, 2.4 seconds back, is faster than the leader right now. So that's going to make things really interesting for the final later on today. The feature going to be interesting where the 96 spreads out and battles out with Lund as he is quicker on average right now to the race leader. Wilbur, by the way, in all of this has held on to the 4th spot. That machine has held on to about a 1-second buffer for Dane Van Dyke. But it's all Lund, all race. Coming up to the white flag this time by final time around.
AJ Lund looking to cap off the season with a championship in the KA senior category here at the IKC, and doing it in dominant fashion as he continues to lead the charge. Pick up maximum points is his goal today, to show that he is the definitive champion in KA seniors. Continues to stretch out that race lead by 2.1 seconds over Yahtzee. Yahtzee, I think, is going to provide a little bit of fun in the feature race, though, as he will try and battle with the top kart driver along with Braden Rudder, who are all right here, all of them looking forward to go and have a shot of going to the top step of the podium at the Supernat later on in a couple of weeks' time. But AJ Lund crosses the line to win your KA Senior pre-final event.
You'll see in second, Rudder holds on to the top 3 with Wilbur down in 4th spot. Dane Van Dyke did close up a few tenths the final lap. Lane Gibbs recovers from the barrier on the pace laps to 6th. Gallion, Santos, Dean Sims the top 10. Simonellic in 11th. Adair in 12th position on track will be the last driver to finish in this race with Laser, Mort, Maxwell, and Ward. Your DNF list. That's looked top to bottom at your running order for a KA Senior in the Masters. It's break time. We'll be about 10 minutes from now racing your features. Be sure to stay tuned. You're watching Kart Chaser from K1 Circuit Whiteland.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental kart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix! James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakracing.com.
What are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion, Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
He's gonna make weight. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by
A1 circuit, Whiteland. Justin Prince alongside Taylor Burris as we get set to go. Drivers are getting set for what should be a busy time for their competitors. It's been a busy time so far here, Taylor, for these drivers. Here on Kart Chase, we're just about set to go to get back rolling.
Absolutely. It is time to give out the trophies. It's time to crown some champions here in the morning session as winds are a-blowing out here at the Whiteland circuit in K1. And of course, you see the action here, and it's going to be an exciting race day this morning for our competitors. We saw some incredible driving and some new faces up at the front of the field challenging to see if they have what it takes to steal the last win of the season and maybe take the fight to their championship rivals.
That's going to be a huge thing is, can you get yourself a championship here today? 10 minutes plus 2 laps to decide it per race. The winds are getting very gusty here as well, by the way. You can see that with the flags around the racetrack. Wonder if that will play a bit of a factor here, Taylor, as it is a cool day, and now it's a very gusty day all of a sudden.
Yeah, the winds are gusting up pretty well right now. I'll get a little bit of a weather update here momentarily as we watch these drivers get themselves set to roll onto the track here in about a minute time for the first race with the micro division.
Yep, those youngsters getting themselves ready to go here in this one.
Currently, right now, it's 48 degrees. It was pretty chilly this morning. 38 was the low. Currently, winds are about at 8 miles an hour, a gust of 16 coming from the west. So it's going to be a little bit breezy out there for a while, and it's going to stay like that for the duration of the rest of the day as we will hit a high of 52 degrees this afternoon later on. So going to be a good one, I have to say, for sure.
Yeah, that's the understatement here. It's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a lot of racing on the day. And of course, we still have 4 classes of coverage after we get through our races here to be able to go through as we get ready for a lunch break after this bit. Going to be a shorter break than normal, we'll tell you, compared to some other times. But as we get prepared to go here, looks like they've added some extra time on the timer here. Let's talk about how the battle is going on with the micros right now as they roll, with Bo Laser getting the 50 points there. James Fox, we can confirm his drop has shuffled. As a result of today, both of his drops are going to be zeros, with him moving up to the micro class. From the micros to the minis, you should say. Getting that promotion into the older age group. His points gap is officially 268 points, Taylor. Championship clinched for Kart number 12, who's already starting off as the top driver to beat in the mini class today.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty crazy to be so dominant to where you could skip out on your final race of the season to go run the next division that you're planning on going to run in 2026. So I gotta say, and not only that, but go and put a dominant effort in that race. So 2026 for James Fox is going to be a year that he will remember and put on some incredible runs. Congratulations to him, and we still will see him in the sportsman and cadet division in the 206 category later on this afternoon to go wrap up another championship.
That should be a fun time to see how things close out there, absolutely. But these drivers just about wrapping up the brakes here again. They run a tight ship here at K1 Circuit, Whiteland. We're just about ready to see them hit the track and figure out who's going to become race winners, and in some cases, who's going to secure their championship runs today. So overall here, let's talk one more time about this layout. So far we've seen, for the most part here, the passes going on in the opening sector, Taylor. We did see one change in the final stretch, which just was outside a camera shot down this final straightaway in our last races of the day, earlier on the heats for Tom Harlan's race with J. Brian Williams. But it's going to be where, for many of these drivers, it's going to be so critical to build up that speed for the opening sector. It just seems that way with a lot of the side-by-side ability up through all those shifting chicanes and shifting braking zones.
Yeah, it's going to provide some interesting situations for some of these drivers with the different undulations, the different areas, as looks like the Micro Swift drivers are about to be released with Bo Lazier, Diesel Maxwell, and Jackson McNeely.
Lazier up for the front, Maxwell and McNeely are the drivers in the field here today. So everyone getting sorted here. You see them on the far side of your screens. Everyone getting to the camera positions here. And here we go. They are on track, ready to go for a 10-minute plus 2-lap race. Remember, a couple laps to heat up the tires here. Make sure they get themselves going before we go racing. And it looks like these karts are so eager, Taylor, they're already doubling up straight out of pit road.
They certainly are. They are ready to go. I think it's safe to say they'll only get that one lap, and we'll turn them loose here for the next 10 minutes plus 2 laps.
Interesting to say at the very least, but again, it shows the eagerness of the field, but also everyone's trying to be a stickler to follow on with the rule set required here today. So we're almost ready for the karts to roll through to the green flag. We're happy to have you with us here on Kart Chaser. Today's coverage has been busy so far. with a lot of races. But now, all the fans have a race on their hands to see where things shake up today. Lazier and Maxwell McNeely. Again, your 3 on track. As looks like the 880 will now take its preferred spot to the inside. Seen some good launches from those on the outside line here today, though. It's their timing to be able to get through to the tram lines and then get the arc down to battle it out for the race lead. Here they go. Being told to slow down as they get ready for the signal. Will they get the green? They do. It's a good push for McNeely. McNeely takes second off the rip. McNeely able to push the back end of Lazier as they pull away.
Great run right there by McNeely to get the run he needs to pull away from the competition. Remember, McNeely and Maxwell are still battling for the second position in the championship. If that were up for grabs here, it's looking to be more in the favor of McNeely here unless something incredible happens in the closing laps as they work their way up through the gears and run up to speed. But Laser leads the charge as they head up to Daytona.
Laser running away with from the rest of the field already. He's been the king of the day. Again, his first starts of the season in the micro class here for Bo. That gap 7/10 up just about, or running on the opening lap when it comes to speed. So McNeely at the very least going to have a good points haul. Close out second in the championship. Maxwell with today closing up third. But right now, these youngsters have to remember, it's about that driver development. It's about learning because you need to be able to figure out how to race here, Taylor, for the long term. Be able to be adaptable to the different layouts because if you want to be able to move up the ranks, you have to be able to keep improving and also know what you need to do when you approach tracks you may not know about beforehand or know as much about layout-wise.
Absolutely. And I got to say, for Bo Laser making his debut in this category in Micro Swift, he's looking to even move up multiple positions in this championship by just making that one start as high up as 8th. He's currently 10th in the championship running order. So he could be looking at a great effort to move up and get himself ready for running next year in the Micro Swift category as he checks out by a significant margin. Maxwell and McNeely has trouble. One driver loops it around. That's McNeely. Tough break for him. And it looks like he has stalled it out right there, and he is done. And you can see the frustration there in McNeely as he has to now recover and rejoin the track, hopefully.
Looks like he will. Got a lifting hand because he was just a little bit into the grass. He's able to get back going. So that burns 2 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock. New fast lap for Laser Maxwell. Well and away. Going to have second spot here. So a chance to go into cruise control for Lazier at this point to be able to make sure come away with the top step of the podium here today just on rapid speed for the new gen motorsport driver. See how things go for him today. Again, new gen, once teams that he's made appearances with in the years, I should correct myself with. You see him with the different chassis to that here today. The looks for the 880 for Lazier. So he runs on through here. 6 minutes and 30 seconds to work with Taylor. Just has to keep it in cruise control.
Make no mistakes and continue on with the charge as Diesel Maxwell sets fastest lap of the race with a 49.82. He's 2.2 seconds back right now, but if he keeps that pace up, he's looking to try and make a charge on Bo Lazier or Laser right there as he is really putting an effort to try and get his first win of the season.
Yes, absolutely. At this point, just a dominating effort for the entire day for the 8 machine on track. Maxwell, meanwhile, he set the fast lap on a layout for this type of kart just the last time by, so he is increasingly picking up the tempo. That is a driver that's worked in the AMAX camp over the course of the season. Has also appeared in top karts last year. The young racer has done well in terms of the determination, as some people have said, to be able to show that they can drive and get the seat time necessary to develop. It's just 7 years old, by the way, Diesel Maxwell, coming into the past few months. So one of the younger drivers you can put in this age bracket, doing well on the track, and he is closing up the gap here, 1.5 seconds back.
Yeah, he picked up 0.7 of a second last time around, and he is starting to close up. He is definitely on a charge to try and get this win away. We know Laser had a really good run here in the opening in that heat race, but I think it's going to be a matter of how well he can manage that second half as they work their way around the circuit so far, but he has picked it up even more. It's now a second separating, so he's picked up half a second last time by even more, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Maxwell can do once he catches the back bumper of Laser.
Yeah, that would be our first major fight between the two of them here today. This showcases some improvement on the setup side. McNeely looks like maybe had some more issues. Crew member just scrambled around where McNeely was on the track. Everybody else keeping an eye on the front two. 1 second back last time by, under 5 minutes to work with up on the board. That gap is down to under 0.7. It just continues to chip away at the right time for Maxwell to try and take away a win here. Maxwell has not won a race outright this season. He has not gotten top points in any of the finals or the heat races, for that matter, coming into today. He's looking to change that script here if he can close out 4 more kart lengths and make this a fight for the lead.
I think what Maxwell took into consideration going into this final event of the day for him is have that long run setup. 5 minutes, a lot can happen. But that 10 minutes, that gives you a little more room. That means that puts more stress on the tires. That means puts more stress on you. You settle in, you get yourself a good run, and as he does so, he drops the hammer again, a 49.43, half a second. He was a 10th faster than Bo Laser, and he is closing as he looks to try to set himself up for a pass.
Keeps chipping away, keeps closing up. Half a second last time by. It's even closer now. It's down to under a kart length. In fact, between the distance of the two of them. 3 minutes to work with Maxwell on the hunt. McNeely, by the way, is still running. He's 29 seconds back of the rest of the field as we go. Maxwell chipping away down to Daytona. Will he take a chance to lunge through yet? No, he won't. Instead, he'll try and line up the draft, looks for a way, maybe some way down the front straightaway to set something up to the inside. Look for a moment. Maxwell takes it a bit wider through the Rhino ladder. Now working their way through 2, up to the next chicane to 3. They go bumper to bumper with 2 minutes to go on the clock. Maxwell, no place to take the run yet.
Maxwell is now right there. Oh, he goes into the grass. That's going to cost him. And he is going to lose that time to Laser. All of that hard work. He still has time to try and make it up, but that is going to be detrimental to the tires right there.
That's going to potentially heat them up a little bit too much there. Going to take a lot of effort to close this up again. It took about half the race just to get within range of the rear end of Laser in the first place. Gaps up to more than 0.8 of a second. They have about 90 seconds to go on the clock here. 90 seconds to work with. The 880 looks to hold on. Maxwell already resetting with a fair amount of time picked up this lap. Still is 5 kart lengths back on the recovery.
Oh, he sends it in deep as they enter into the infield section. Let's see what he's able to do. He's kind of stopped the bleeding and started picking away a little bit at that gap between himself and your race leader as they come up to the Daytona banking, making the charge through. It's about 4 kart lengths separating your top 2 as they come around. 3 laps to go for your leaders.
Only a few more laps to be able to get the job done here. Maxwell had closed up 3/10 on the recovery from the grass moment. He's already back within 3 kart lengths. Yet again, went a little bit wide through the chicanes, though, to the sweeping ones. They'll head to the technical section with Maxwell trying to push as hard as possible here to have any chance for a poke around, for any chance to try win this race. As they come around with 15 seconds to work with, Maxwell is running out of time to get this done here with Lazier coming on through. Zero's coming up on the clock. 2 laps to go. This time through, will they get the double sticks? They didn't show the double sticks. It shows 2 to go in time, but I don't think they gave the double stick. That's how close the time was.
It was right on the money. I think it was like 1 second left when they crossed the line. So yeah, it's going to be close here as they work their way through. But Bo Laser has stopped the bleeding. He's now made sure he got a little faster last time by than Diesel Maxwell. But Maxwell puts the pressure on, trying to see if he can get a run in the infield section. Not going to work, though, as Laser gets a great run out of the hairpin.
Will there be any change up at the front? Will there be a switch around? Right now, the gap is growing again at the right time for the 880 to stretch it out. Now we see where the flags are. This time they gave him the 2 to go signal. Now it is indeed 2 laps to go up on the board. 2 more times around for the battle for the race win. Maxwell still needs to close up half a second to have any chance to try and win this race here. Did close up a fair bit coming through towards the far side for the back straightaway. He's sending it, though. Sending it as hard as possible in the infield. Lazier has just been really good in that middle sector, though. He stretches it out again. Gains a couple kart lengths coming out of it to Daytona.
You got to be careful with how much you want to send it into those deep hairpins and those deep braking zones, because then you don't want to make that same mistake that Maxwell did a couple of laps ago. White flag in the air. Laser has a little bit of breathing room. How aggressive will Maxwell be into the braking zone? The answer is going to be pretty aggressive. He'll try to send it in deep and close a kart length or 2 right there as he now tries to pick up the momentum and work his way around as they head down the backstretch.
Final chance coming up for Maxwell. He's not been able to get close enough to have a chance to lunge at this. He's not been close enough to make the pass for the past 3, 4, 5 minutes. Right now, Zero has just been able to hold on. The 880 has been a dominant kart here today. Bo knows karting. Nearly goes wide in the final corner, doesn't matter. The 880 gets the victory today. Maxwell in second, and McNeely will be the last finisher out of the 3 here in the Micros, Taylor.
So that'll pretty much make your champion now, once again, in the Micro Swift category goes as followed. James Fox, then it will go the way, I believe, of probably McNeely will still hold on to that second position in the championship. And then Maxwell with a great run will wrap it up there in 3rd. But a great way to wrap up the season for your Micro Swift Championship competitors. And watch out for Bo Laser next season as he tries to go out there and put on a show in the Micro Swift category.
So, next group is already having their engines fired. The Minis. Waiting for the clearance to come out of the gates is James Fox, looking to continue a dominant day over Blake Martinez. Kason Hendrickson starts 3rd with Leighton Seminowick in 4th. And Jackson Jessup rounds out the field here of these karts before we get fired up for their respective pack here, Taylor. So, we have 5 groupings of drivers ready to roll here. 5 karts, should say. James Fox is going to be difficult to beat here today when they get the clearance to go in for the race.
James Fox is going to be one that will put on a good race here, but I would have to be shocked if Hendrickson or Martinez will have anything for him as he gets set to lead the charge and put on a great drive through the field here today. As a matter of fact, looking at him, if he is to win today's race, that would put him up inside the top 10 in points. In fact, probably tie him for the 8th position in the mini Swift category. So just for running one race, he would be already out of 18 karts inside the top 10.
Yep, right now, the field already getting itself prepared. We've seen how quickly they doubled up last time. I don't think they're getting as quick to that mark here in this group for the minis. Again, the reason we're separated was lap time differential, making sure they don't have too much of an overlap. And we don't have lap traffic play a factor where you have people having contact pop up. But Fox, looking to be feisty like one here today to control this field. Making his way up to Daytona. The rest of the field now catching up to him now. And actually getting doubled up right this moment. So we can go racing. Again, one more time. Looking at those starting grid motions. Fox and Martinez ready up on the front row. 10 minutes plus 2 laps up on the board again. Coming to the green, they'll take the green, and immediately a slider to the inside. Fox holds on. Simonelli was amongst the drivers already going for some lunges. The battle was on for second, but Fox able to get a feisty start up front.
A great jump right there from Fox as he tries to fight his way through around the circuit and now has a multi-kart length advantage as Martinez, Simonelli battle it out for second. Hendrickson holds the 4th position as he tries to work his way through, now up to 3rd as we see right here on camera as they head their way up through Daytona. It's going to be now to see if those two of Hendrickson and Martinez can try and work together to see if they can have anything for James Fox.
Get anything done absolutely here with how things have gone to start. As the clock moves forward, Fox in front, Martinez once was in the shuffle. Hendrickson, remember, trying to recover from some of the issues earlier on. We know how fast that machine was earlier on in the day to be able to battle for second. Fox runs away, but the close-up is there for the 2 machine. Right within a couple tenths of a second up front, Hendrickson going for it. Jason Hendrickson amongst those who has won here many times before in his past, and when it comes to karting, family operation, when it comes to him working with Kyler, we've talked about in the past. For Kaysen, known as the Flying Deuce, has been racing since the age of 4. He was a Kit Kart novice champion in 2019, won Kit Kart at Newcastle in 2020. He also picked up Micro Swift Championships in 2022. He's been around for a little while in this eye bracket. Hendrickson does have the ability to go, is amongst the drivers that also has to wear an eye patch due to some conditions that he had originally from surgeries back with originally having cataracts at age 3. But as also amongst those has to wear bifocal glasses to make sure he can see what's up in front. He's been looking like he's been well focused on that what's in front of him throughout this race here today, with Martinez staying close to him.
Yeah, he is trying every which way he can to keep him behind and stay up in that same area. Hendrickson, I got to say, though, has had some great runs throughout the season. I mean, looking over just some of his results for him, Kaysen Hendrickson picked up the season opener win and then had a little bit of a break, didn't run the pretty much from round 2 all the way to round 6, then went on a win streak, picking up 3 wins in the last few races from round 7 to today. He is on an incredible drive. He, in fact, collects the most wins of the season. It makes you wonder, I have to say, Justin, if he showed up for rounds 2 through 6, if he would have been the one as your champion this season because of what he's been able to accomplish.
Exactly. Still plenty of time to work with in this race. As Martinez holds on to second spot. Sobodolik and Jessup have lost touch to everyone else in this grouping. It almost feels like Hendrickson in this battle, though, Taylor, has reached almost a bubble. Right about here is where it's almost like he's had a hard time breaking that bubble to get close enough to get on by. You can see him trying different lines here, but it's not been working.
It certainly has not been working at all, I have to say. And Hendrickson's got to try something different because Martinez has just been placing the kart exactly where it needs to be to keep Hendrickson behind.
Yep, right now you see just how things are going in terms of the closeness here. Let's see right now that separation staying the way it's been throughout much of this race with half a race on the clock at least to go. And remember, for a lot of these competitors here, Taylor, this is the tough thing, is finding that chance to overcome, to find that chance to be able to move up that extra step on the podium in these types of battles here. It's hard to find what you need once you get on the racetrack. It's really about finding a difference right now. It might be with the gearing. It might be with how you run the casters or camber to be able to get the grip in the kart. It might be those minute differences where they have basically the exact near identical set. But Hendrickson finally gets a chance alongside, but it was to the outside, tries to cross him up. No, Martinez holds firm.
Martinez is doing everything he can to keep Hendrickson behind, and it is working in his favor. I mean, this is pretty much a battle for second. I mean, James Fox is nowhere to be found at this time, as Hendrickson has been setting fast laps here, just not able to put the pressure down in order to do what he needs to do in order to challenge and get around. I mean, they've already fallen off a good second from your race leader, James Fox.
Yeah, they've fallen off near 4 seconds specifically. Last time by, it was about a half a second difference a lap. So this is for the highest point they could probably get here to end off the day. Martinez already getting himself a championship in the minis here coming into this race. Oh, we got pressurized a little bit going into the 90-degree corner. Going down the final straightaway, though, still able to get that speed. Martinez just able to get that kart to carry a lot more speed, even with that little push from behind from Hendrickson. That, if anything, helped him build this buffer, and Hendrickson is about even in the opening sector.
And watching on here, I mean, it's incredible to see these two, as here comes Hendrickson down to the inside. Thought about showing the nose to get around Martinez. He's right there. You see him. He's pushing on that bumper. He is trying to find a way to make Martinez make a mistake, and it's not working out in his favor as they work their way out of the final corner onto the front straightaway. The gap is now 4 seconds between your top two as they come across the line.
Yeah, still 4 seconds. In fact, to stay that the past couple laps now. Still have a bit of time for a few more laps of racing here. These types of races stretch at times. Or the thing about IKC races, they go by pretty quickly once you think about it. In terms of these events, in terms of how fair on the racetrack, it puts together a strong, and that's why the oldest karting track in America here puts on a show whenever the locals try and perform here and get some experience and build the repertoires here when it comes to IKC competition. It's been very well respected for a region when it comes to this region.
It really has. I mean, this track here is home just has brought in some amazing talent throughout the decades. I mean, you hear about some of the biggest names in motorsports coming out to this track, and this is where they got their start to where they were able to progress. I mean, some drivers I can think of, Connor Daly, Joseph Newgarden, and several other competitors worked their way through the rankings of karting to come and race to where they're able to be where they are today. I mean, it's an amazing facility, and what's so great about this track is all the different configurations you can do. I even see some areas where you can even do some oval racing around this track with just how the track is laid out and set up. Incredible racing action, and just so many different ways you could test and put yourself to use to trying different variations of track layouts.
I'm surprised we haven't tried a full-on oval race in any of these IKCs. I know at one of the times, it was a couple years ago when I first started with Kart Chaser, they used the backstretch chicane coming out of Daytona that caused some pretty interesting situations with some sense and some contact there with some of the pros that came in that weekend. There's so many different combinations you can do, and of course the kid karts have their own combination too, usually when it comes to how they get the layout done for those very youngsters. Should be about 3 to go, coming to 2 laps to go, by the way, based on the time up on the board. Fox leads by 4.2 seconds. Martinez has built the buffer, and Martinez was able to withstand the pressure from Hendrickson and pull away here, Taylor.
He certainly has been, and that's going to be a not that great situation for Kason Hendrickson. I mean, he wants to try to get that second spot, but Martinez has just been able to take care of his equipment from the time of the green flag all the way to the finish. 2 laps to go for Fox as he crosses the line. All we can say is a great season for James Fox and a great way to cap it off with another win.
Yeah, moving up into another class to close out the season, winning the championship regardless in the Air class. Now getting the chance to celebrate a welcome to the minis near immediately being welcomed into the top step of the here today. Tina seems to be in a comfortable spot to be able to secure things here depending on what happens for a second step. Just needs to drive it on home. Coming up should be the white flag coming up here for Fox. Final time around for the 12.
Here he comes leading the charge, James Fox. An incredible season for him, and he's not done racing yet. He's still got one more race to do later on this afternoon if he chooses to do so, and goes out in style as he heads down the back straightaway for the final time, and for the first time in the mini Swift category, and looking to continue that trend next season in 2026. And I will be watching and anticipating how well he will do in 2026 and all the competition he's been competing in. And we look forward to leading the charge out of Daytona for the final time. Checkered flag for James Fox and the Top Kart machines to win here in Mini.
So in the end, Fox able to dominate this race. 4.1 seconds to pick up the mini final win. Like Martinez, Case and Hendrickson, the top 3, they'll stand on the podium unofficially. Savanelek and Jessup will miss the podium. They were half a second spread from each other, but 10 seconds back of a podium spot. So top to bottom at our mini Swift final run through, Taylor. 2 of the races down, but next up is one of the big shows. The 206 mediums is going to be one to keep an eye on here this morning as we blend to afternoon by the end of this run.
Absolutely, as the drivers make their way into the scale line, you see Fox is just excited as here's your starting lineup for the 206 senior mediums. also now works their way around the circuit to get set for the 206 medium. Wilbur and Heber, McCorkadale, some of the drivers we're going to be keeping an eye on in this championship run. As looking to see where Levi Wilbur is. There he is, a little bit further back in third. Taking his time here as they get themselves warmed up for the final formation lap in today, as they move Levi Wilbur quite a ways back.
Yeah, we'll see if Wilbur's able to get
Was
back
he
in
too
position here. He's lost 10 spots in the grid procedure. I am going to have to double check. Let's make sure on that fact before we get going. To answer your question on that, was there any penalties from that heat race? No. No, there was. Gavin Halton was the only DNS for reference in the class for those drivers. So as they get sorted out, we're just about ready to go, where it's going to be McCorkadale lined up at the front right now. If things hold here, Brendan Heber on the outside regardless here. And it looks like we're going to have to go around again. They aren't lined up at all. Yeah, with the situation with Wilbur, I don't think they're in a position to start yet, no. Obviously, race officials want to make sure everything's correct, Taylor, before we take the green.
Absolutely, which is great to see, but of course it's a little concerning of what happened to Levi Wilbur and why he fell back so quickly.
Yep, right now, let's see what the choice looks like here. Here they go. Now they're going to double up. And there it is. Wilbur's finally in position. Now they can get started. Wilbur just had to gain a fair amount of time back on the racetrack, Taylor. Looks like he will retain his starting spot here in this one. Wilbur and Heber, McCorkadale falls back to third for the start. Derek Hastings in fourth. Laser, Nostman, Maxwell Patton, the first 4 rows. The field's been carrying a fair amount of speed coming up to the tram lines here today. Will that continue with this class? Looks like they're keeping up a consistent amount of pace here for the start of the clock. Coming up to take the green. They'll take it now. We're underway. Once again for medium, and a poor start for Heber. The 8 drops all the way to 4th to begin the race. Braden Heber loses lots of ground on track.
It is going to be a detriment right there for Braden Heber. Can he find his way to fight up through the field and keep up with Wilbur and McCorkadale, as Hastings and company also jockey around for position as they head down into the hairpin?
Here's the big reason McCorkadale up front is a huge thing. Remember the drop situation right here? Heber right now, the drop calculations put McCorkadale now up in front per the spreadsheet, but that doesn't include today's race, obviously, and the shuffle of the big points, where the lowest drop would be a 170 likely from round 6, depending on what happens today. So this could potentially, even with the drops factored in here, Taylor, see the 19 shuffle to the top of the board. It will really depend on the final points calculations once everything is finalized and official in the run-through between the 19 and the 8. But McCorkadale is doing exactly what he needs to do for himself to get top points and potentially get himself top spot in a championship.
It is definitely not a good look right here for the drivers as they come across the line. Let's see how it all plays out amongst them. McCorkadale now leads the charge. This is what he needs to have happen as he leads the way with help from Wilbur and Laser. Maxwell also right there. It's a 4-horse race as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, everyone's staying pretty close here. Again, this was expected to be one of your more intense races of the day today. It's based on the field size, but also the competition. Speaking of competition, Zero Munsto's trying to shuffle forward here. Wilbur also back there amongst some of the fights. Heber, for reference, has fallen out of the main pack and well out of its grasp. The top four up by more than 2+ seconds. Heber did get to 5th, but is on an island with Wilbur now looking to hunt for the race lead.
Wilbur's trying everything. He's going to try and look for an opening to get around McCorkadale, but it's not going to work. McCorkadale hogs that inside lane. He's going to make sure Wilbur works for it in order to get around for the race lead as they enter into the infield. Laser and Maxwell keeping steady pace as Heber inching his way closer to the top 4 as they head out of the hairpin.
You see them now working their way out of Daytona. Keep an eye on the 8. Last time by, he gained a 10th on the pack. He is marginally quicker. In fact, he set the fastest lap by 4/10 just now. Heber's about in drafting distance to make this a 5-kart breakaway instead of 4. And for the 8, this would be a great recovery for him in 206 medium. No, he was a part of the MCC Cincinnati championship action when it came to the Pro Karting Championship. So we'll see if he's able to come himself to the top of the board for this championship here this weekend. At this point, after he also was in a similar situation out in near Cincinnati just a week ago, Taylor.
It's incredible to see how it's working out in the favor of Cadell and Wilbur. I mean, and it makes you wonder if Heber should have went for a chance and stayed in IKC to go and compete for this championship. I mean, he was in a good shot for the racing action over at MCC, of course, but still, you saw much how he struggled there, and now he's struggling here.
Yeah, just to confirm, it was a 206 Senior Championship for Braden Heber in the very end. That was a question we had. He ended up winning that championship in a tight margin, though, under 100 points to Addison Iannello, picking up 240 points to Iannello's 217 the very end in that racing championship. But he had also been in some of the other championship conversations, like the K100 Seniors. He slipped down to 3rd in that championship behind Will Steele and Ryan Miller. He's 206 category racing. It's been his strength, though, when it comes to these events here at IKC. And he is now officially in the draft. But Corkindale still keeps up. Corkindale just trying to work with Wilbur. Here we go with some attempts, though. Some passing opportunities. Maxwell trying to go for a poke. Wilbur drives right on by again, and that sure gets the 8 into the hunt with 4 minutes to go.
It certainly does as they make the run up through the field here, and as they continue to do so, watch on the action. McCorkadale stays on the defense as Wilbur looks for an opening as Heber now tries to see if he can get around Maxwell and Laser.
Yeah, all of them trying to fight hard here to do something for passes. Will there be a chance to pop up here? Here comes the chance side by side again. Maxwell for 2nd. He's been trying to get 2nd spot so many times this run, and we have a spinner down to the front straightaway. Kart stopped right in the heart of the racetrack and is having issues firing back up. Now yellow flags wave. This is going to get interesting. Field being told, watch out as they get the kart just out of the way in time. All while Maxwell takes that as a signal to go for the lead, as believe we may have reds popping up here. Seen one of the flag paths getting a red flag displayed, but the rest of the field keeps racing.
No, I think I've been watching that too. over in turn one. It's just a flag in one of the holders right now because I've been looking throughout the rest of the field to just check. It is a red flag, but it is not one that is used for bringing out any issues. It is all clear and still green.
Something to watch for, I think, right now for them in future, but all of that has shuffled the lead as we've gone. 2.5 minutes or so to work with here in this one, plus the 2 laps. Wilbur now in front. McCorkindale has fallen down to third. Heber is up to fourth, though, and is right on the doorstep of passing his championship rival here. If he can get something opened up here in what's been some intense battling in the infield.
It certainly has been some intense battling as the field works their way around the circuit here. Your top 5 all right there, not even a kart length apart as Wilbur leads the charge. Maxwell, McCorkindale now falling into the clutches of Heber. This could change up and shake up the championship.
Yep, and now looks to try and figure things out here. Here's a send for third. It's Heber alongside McCorkindale. McCorkindale covers him off, coming out through 2, able to fend him off for now. But Heber is showing the aggression here, had the opportunity, but now has to regain all the time back. Has gained it all back, in fact, in one corner. McCorkindale did not get a good run for the back straightaway. Heber ready to try and reset. Coming up to, it's going to be close on how many laps we get here, Taylor. Might be 3, might be 4 to go at the stripe. Believe it's going to be 4.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 laps to go here for Wilbur, Maxwell, McCorkindale, as McCorkindale starts to give a little bit of a push right there to Maxwell to help them close the gap up to Levi Wilbur, as Wilbur nearly tuck it in the grass briefly. Is able to keep it on the pavement, though, and continues on with his charge. But this is some incredible racing in your 206 senior medium.
Some great
and right
battling
there's the
here.
pass for position.
Here we go. McCorkindale tried to make a move. Instead, it's fended off for now as Maxwell is out of the front of the field with all the squabbling. Maxwell up front now looks to take off. Can he get himself a buffer? 10 seconds left on the board. McCorkindale looks to try and line back up as they make their way down the front stretch. 3 laps to go. Next time by, they'll get to 2 as they zip on through.
McCorkindale trying every which way he can to at least put a cart between himself and Braden Heber as they enter into the back straightaway. Here comes the pass for the race lead. Wilbur back up front with a beautiful pass to the bottom of the racetrack. How will McCorkindale and Maxwell respond? They're going to tuck up behind, set themselves up for a pass into the hairpin. Gives each other a little room to work with, as right there, you see the drivers now trying to jockey around for position. Heber losing touch, though, with your top 3 briefly. It's about 2 kart lengths separating them.
Here we go. This time through, they look to race it on out. 2 to go, up on scoring. Wilbur back in front. Maxwell has the poke from the 19. Looking like more so pressure from Heber from Lazier settles on behind.
There's McCorkindale to the inside.
He didn't settle. McCorkindale goes up to second. Now it's back and forth again. Another send back. Maxwell once again moves up. Now it's another send from Lazier. Oh, while Heber gets himself to the outside. Trying to wrap himself around, cuts through the grass to make the pass. In fact, that's really split up the main pack, hasn't it?
It really has, unfortunately, and you saw the frustration there in McCorkindale lifting his hand up when he saw what Heber and Laser were doing as they get the white flag. Levi Wilbur leads the charge by a comfortable margin. Lap traffic coming up, though, as they have to negotiate it. McCorkindale has to dig deep to get second position away. He needs at least another kart ahead behind him to give him some room and hopefully try and get the championship.
Here we go. Will there be a chance for a close-in? Up at the front of the field as this shapes up. It's been a wild race so far, but right now it's Wilbur trying to hold off Maxwell McCorkindale. Right now the gap is about 10 kart lengths. Wilbur last time by set the fastest lap he set the entire race, in fact, out of anybody. 48.8. He takes that pace to a checkered flag and wins in 2:06 senior medium. Maxwell McCorkindale, the top 3. Heber and Lazare, the top 5. Nostman ends up finishing down in 6th position. Tyler DeMan will start this race in 7th. Start at 9th, should say. Finish off in 7th. Fairways back. Eric Spilling amongst the top 8 here today. He gained a lot of ground on the last lap. Andrew Goldman and Chris Perez are in your top 10. Those are the only drivers to finish. We have a lot of pickup this time through here, Taylor. 4 drivers DNF. Derek Hastings, Jake Meldrum, Nick Patton, Gavin Holtum have all had issues this past race. So why don't we take a chance to step aside here, as there's going to be a fair bit of pickup. Recovery underway as we get ready for our next race here on Kart Chaser.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, do you guys say you like shopping?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
Karts are firing up and ready to go. Drivers now heading the racetrack as we continue on with our coverage here on Kart Chaser IKC competition here from K1 Circuit Whiteland. Justin Prince, Taylor Burris with you as we make our way onto the racetrack. Our next group, it's the 206 juniors, Taylor, that are ready to rumble. How are things going when it comes to the junior class coming in? Well, Jordan Lapham, as things stand, has the points lead by just under 100. But that currently factors in today's race as one of the drops critically. Parker Dunn lost a lot of potential points earlier on, and today may end up being his second drop if he doesn't recover here, Taylor.
Yeah, this is going to be the big concern going into this in the 206 Junior because of how it's looking. This will be his second drop race, so as long as he hopes that Jordan Latham has a not great finish for him in the finals, and Parker Dunn gets a really good run and works his way up to the field, I have to say, give the championship over to Jordan Latham.
So Jordan Lapham up at the front. Nico Santos, Nolan Wade, Emmett King are the top four. Tower Nash Turner in the very end in terms of the official running order did drop down to fifth because he got a 5-second avoidable contact penalty. That's why we've seen the black flag on the flag stand. Sivakumar will start in sixth with Cleve, Seward, Feitinger, should say, in the next spot. And McCann in 10th, your last car on track, the Kart of Parker Dunn. Top to bottom running through of today's action as we come up to 10 minutes plus 2 laps for our middle car race of our finals here this morning, now in the afternoon officially, as we passed the 12 o'clock hour. Just about ready to race as we see how things play out up at the point. Green flag waits at the other side of the tram lines. The field being told to slow down. They're 3 wide coming up to the tram lines for a moment. Green flag is out. We're crashing to the back. That's going to hold up Parker Dunn. Dunn loses a lot of ground with that spin. The rest of the field makes its way through.
Everyone jockeying for position here as they try to set themselves up for a run down the back straightaway. A couple of karts try to set themselves up for a pass. No one close to send it in to the infield section as they work their way through. But Santos, Lapin, King, Emma King looking to get her best finish of the 2026-5 season as they lead the charge as Latham up at the top leads into Daytona.
The way on through as they continue to rumble. First times fly on through with Lapham up at the front of the field. Santos Nash Turner is already going for second. How about the charge for the 24th? That kart is on rails to start. Already up there, 2P2. Parker Dunn, by the way, moved up to 7th with that incident on the opening lap, but still is further back down on the interval compared to everybody else, though. So it's going to take some effort to be able to have a chance to be in the lead group and have today not be the drop round for kart number 7. Top 4, though, stay single file for now with Nash Turner on the prowl. He's already closed up the gap rapidly this lap. No send yet. Will we go for one at the end of the straightaway?
He's not close enough really to try to send it into the bottom, and just as I say that, he thought about showing the nose. Meanwhile, the pass for third is happening possibly. Nope. Wayne decides to stay tucked up behind Santos as Dunn has moved up to 6. The good news for Parker Dunn is he has time on his side with 8 minutes to go plus an additional 2 laps. He can start making a charge as here we go to the bottom. Nash Turner takes over the race lead. Goes a little wide, though, opening the door for more competition. As here comes Lapham around the outside. Santos looks to the bottom. As they go around, that will drop Santos up to second.
All sorts of changes around yet again in the pack. Expect this type of battling here today. The 206 is putting on a show in their top classes. We head down to 7.5 minutes to go. First quarter burned off the clock. Santos for the lead. Takes it from the inside. Lapham looking to take the move for the outside. For good measure for second. Doesn't get it. So Nico Santos able to rip away the top spot for now. So we continue to see a lot of changes here. Nico Santos, one of the many drivers we've seen pop up throughout this season. The Bucket Motorsports machine has been fast today, with Raider Santos being the air member of their team. They're regulars when it comes to this type of racing. They've looked solid here today, both the Santos, and we're seeing why Nico gets the chance to lead.
Absolutely, and with those 5 battling, that's helping bring Parker Dunn into the mix. He is closing that gap significantly. It's now 2 seconds between himself and Jiju Sivakumar, who sits in 5th as he tries to move up to 4th position.
Yep, they all worked their way on through. This has been an interesting race, to say the very least, here today with the squabbling. We'll keep this up here with Lapham looking for a chance to poke. Nash Turner plants it down, holds on for now. This race going exactly the way Dunn needs it to go to be able to recover some spots, though, to say the very least, Taylor, and be able to stay within the pack, most of the field, staying well tightly knit together for the most part here with the way these packs have compressed down for the most part. He closed up a second plus last time by. They're now battling near 3 wide for the race lead. Santos and Nash Turner go back and forth again, still side by side, now 3 wide as they all send it into the corners for the back straightaway. All sorts of squabbling with Santos still amongst those throwing elbows.
Oh, contact. Multiple carts get together. 2 of them are stuck together over there in the back half of the circuit. We'll have to figure out who those 2 are, but that will shake up the running order significantly. I don't see Lapham and I don't see Parker Dunn yet. We'll have to wait to see how they cross the line, but Santos gets a breath of fresh air right there as he tries to check out from the rest of the field as they cross the line with under 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Lapham makes through, but Parker Dunn gets collected in that incident.
Dunn falls down the pylon yet again today, very much so. Going to be the drop for cart number 7, which would give Lapham the championship if things hold. So Lapham just needs one goal. Keep it clean. Don't get any incidents, and he can get the job done here today depending on what else happens. But Santos still holds on with 4 minutes to work with. Now it's bumper cars for second. Bit of a checkup for Nash Turner. Nash Turner had a slow run through the infield section. We've seen a couple drivers stack up there, and here we run each other over. Lapham, he's got the run for second. Will he take the poke? Yes, indeed. Some drafting going around. Lapham not even make the swap around, but Nash Turner still trying to play defensive.
Turner trying to do everything he can to hold off the rest of the field. Now he'll look to the inside of Santos. Gets to the inside, makes the pass complete, but goes off a little bit wide, opening the door back for Santos to take over the spot. And here comes Latham down to the bottom.
Lapham able to pick up an extra bit of buffer. That's extra 10 points his direction here. If that stands for the end, that's going to be important. All of them making their way down the front straight away. Sivakumar falls down the pylon this time, down to 6th on the running order with all the shakeups. 3 minutes to work with, and the lead starting to separate. Santos seems to have the ability to hold a lot of carts off Taylor, but no one's had a true shot to build up a run quite yet. It takes a lot of momentum to get things closed up in these 206s.
Running out of time, running out of options here. Latham back on the charge, gets around Santos for the race lead, and now is back up front as Turner, Wade, and Fightinger battle it out there for the 3rd spot.
Fightinger has been amongst the drivers able to recover from a poor start to the day. The heat race was disastrous for the 151. Not so much trouble here today. 6 carts all covered underneath a blanket here for this pack. 2 minutes to work with. Who gets the chance to make a move next is the question. Nash Turner chomping at the bit to go after things. Lapham now scored the leader last time by as things go. Lapham has Santos going inside. Not enough to make a full send though. Lapham holds on in front, builds up 2 kart lengths, works his way back to Daytona. The 112 doing a really good job here on this fight right now as they continue to shape things up on the distance. Just under 90 seconds to go on the clock as we roll.
90 seconds ago, and as they slide their way through into turn number 1, Latham has a decent margin for the race lead now. About 2 kart lengths separating himself from Santos as Turner trying to find his way back up towards the front of the field as there's a pass setting up between Wade and Siva Kumar for the 4th and 5th position. Siva Kumar, an impressive drive for him today as he tries to look his way into a chance of a podium as they head into the hairpin.
You have all of them looking for a chance to stand on the last podium of the season here. Gonna be 3 to go when they come up to the stripe here. 3 more times around. Latham about to get himself a chance for the championship of the points totals after today. Side by side for second, Nash Turner going for it. Contact and a spinner. It's Nash Turner around, and a second kart goes around with them. They scatter across the racetrack as there goes the 24's chances. Had gone for the send for second, and the pack has imploded. They are battling hard now for the new second place battle pack.
That leaves Latham with plenty of room to work with and continues to stretch out that race lead. Santos and company are also trying to figure some things out as he is now dropped back to 3rd with Wade behind in 4th. And I believe, I'm trying to get the number of that one. Is that Fightinger maybe who's moved up into the 2nd spot with the chaos that ensued? We'll find out as they come across the line. You see parents and fans cheering on the competition as Siva Kumar has moved up to 2nd place. Santos and Wade move McCain up into 5th position.
Bentley McCann has set the fastest lap of the race this race. That 111's not been in the conversation today, but with some of the chaos, he's been able to recover some spots there after starting this race in 10th position. But all this is while Siva Kumar running away with the 2nd spot. Santos and Wade ready to spar it out for 3rd. Santos has Wade close up all over the rear end for Daytona. Has to back up a touch to arc it up for the corner. Wade might have one chance at a true send here with the white flag waving. Final time around. Latham up front. All of them go all sorts of wild because Santos goes defensive. Wade and Santos fighting out.
Jordan Latham looking to try and get his 2nd career win of the season so far, and doing so, Siva Kumar looking to get on the podium for the first time in 2025 this season as Parker Wade and Santos battle it back and forth for that final step of the podium. And here comes McCann as well, making it a 3-horse fight for the final step.
Santos trying to hold on and plant. McCann trying to find a way to go. He's been charging all race. Can he steal a podium as the biggest mover? Checker flag waves. Jordan Latham wins over Siva Kumar. For 3rd, though, it's Nico Santos who holds off Wade and McCann. Parker Dunn recovers to 6th. Emmett King in 7th. Plebe Tomer Nash Turner from his spin ends up 9th. Fightinger finishes 2 laps down as a DNF as Seward ends up getting in the 10th position in this one. Taylor, what a race.
An incredible drive that we saw happen here today, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the next season will go for every one of these drivers. I know for a couple of them, exciting to cap it off with podiums, championships, and some great finishes. As I'm looking through, several drivers have had some career days in the 206 Juniors in the final race.
So that brings us past the halfway point in our races here. In fact, all right, just passed it already. That brings up Legends and Supermasters next in the order. Then you have Seniors and the Masters next in the run-through. See those drivers in a couple moments' time. Why don't we take a quick moment to step aside? Our next grouping coming up should be on track in just a few minutes with a touch bit of pickup here on Kart Chaser. Those karts now actually getting ready to go. We'll stay here, in fact, pardon me. as J. Brian Williams and Tom Harleman are your top two. Tom Stevens, Danny Cutshaw, third and fourth, now with the engines fired. Wayne McLaughlin and Chad Keane, the top six. Chris Whitaker and Richard Masters with Joseph Stevens and Mark Cirk, your top 10. 10 karts ready to go here today. Remember, J. Brian Williams stole it away, as Tom Harlan said. He was in control most of the race. He said it on social media, where he's got more than 1,000 followers, in fact. Led all but the last half of the heat race. He felt he did some up and unders on passes. We'll see if Tom Harlan can get some up and unders again with the 75 ready to try and run. Going to be interesting, Taylor, to say the very least, what we're about to see, especially from those top two. What do you say?
I mean, both Brian Williams and Tom Harleman are going to put on a great fight. And then, of course, you got the two new-gen drivers of Stevens and Danny Cutshaw looking to try to see if they can prevent William McLaughlin for picking up another win this season in the 206 Supermasters. But it's going to be a tall order for the drivers in that category to really go for the championship in Supermasters. As we see here, McLaughlin is pretty much wrapped it up. I mean, Cutshaw is basically going to try to see what he can do to maintain second position, since Richard LeMasters is in the hunt as well. It's all a matter of just how this will all play out between the two of them, between Cutshaw and LeMasters.
So the field just waiting for the pickup to get complete here before we get going once again here today. Pickup has been fairly quick for the most part in most sequences. It looks like the driver's just getting a little bit antsy to hit the racetrack with Tom Stevens over the back end of J. Brian Williams. Hope you're enjoying the action here today once again here on Kart Chaser. K1 Circuit Whiteland, the host of the Indy Karting Challenge. Indy Karting Challenge has been long for a fair while. Look towards some of the history in this event. Broadcasting for a few years now, I believe, on here on Kart Chaser, for example. Talk about things. You also think about how far back things go in terms of just the championship side of things, past couple of years at least. Have those details of available on standby. And remember, this track does also have rental carts. You can also pick up a Arrive and Drive rental cart specifically, where they race all the way into the nighttime these days. Of course, these drivers today going to be filling the track. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say between 5 and 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. So if you want to come out here, or if you're in the area watching live on Kart Chaser, and if you want to have some fun at the K1 Circuit in Whiteland, now's your chance. Come out here, have a little fun. Watch after you watch the action, or better yet, go to the track, watch the action live and in person, and then get behind the wheel of a rental kart and see what it was like to race around the same track that these drivers are racing on today. And who knows, maybe give you the racing bug to go out there and have a chance to drive some karts out there on the circuit.
Have you driven one of the K1 circuit type of karts before? I heard those karts are electrifyingly fast, though.
Oh, they're absolutely incredible. I had the chance to drive a rental kart, the K1 rental kart, on the circuit out in California, in Winchester. And that circuit, I mean, first and foremost, the Winchester circuit is a phenomenal facility, hands down. And it's pretty amazing that K1 owns one of the most newest karting circuits in North America, and now one of the oldest karting circuits in North America. And it's incredible to see them work so well to continue to help bring karting up to the next level for everyone, not just those who are racing at the grassroots levels or the rental kart level, but also the pro level of drivers that we're seeing, and helping raise that pedigree of karting racing action across the nation.
The field warms up its tires before we get racing here today for these competitors. We'll see what happens for this one. Should it be some close battling for the Legends in particular? Supermasters also had some pretty good battling. Their interval was a bit more separated towards the end, though. Last race, J. Brian Williams won by 0.2 of a second. Tom Stevens won his class by a margin of 1.1 seconds, where Denny Cutshaw in the official run-through in Supermasters. Remember, William McLaughlin had been the driver hounding Denny Cutshaw for much of that race, too, before Stevens ended up picking up the win. So we're keeping an eye on how the Legends turned out. Just about ready to double up here. We'll look at the conditions here today. The air temperature is up to 52, by the way. So while it's been windy, it's not been that humid of a day, about 51% on that mark. Expecting to get to a high now of 54 rather than 55. 1 degree difference, still pretty cool. Still have to wear a jacket. Field getting itself ready to go. Happy to have you with us again for more racing action. It's the Legends, it's the Supermasters. They're together as one. They look to unite, to find some mysteries, and be able to solve them. Who's going to win the mystery of being able to solve who wins this race? We're underway from a confusing metaphor. All while the rest of the field single files out. Good start as we're underway.
Getting things rolling here as Brian Williams will lead the charge heading off into the hairpin. Of course, you have the rest of the field now just trying to settle in. They still know they got 10 minutes to work with, as there you see the 18 machine also working his way around the circuit of Tom Harleman, trying to keep pace as looking to see where some of our other drivers are as Tom Stevens leads in the Supermasters division.
Clean start for them as currently working on the time scoring sequence here, as right now Harleman not having the gains he's been looking for here. He's lost a lot of ground here, Taylor, to start after being basically in control before by a decent bit in race 1 of the day in the heat race. He's going to have to get back on the high horse here and close up the gap pretty quickly if he wants to keep up with Williams, who's been able to find something a little bit more for this final.
Yeah, he's got to work his way around and figure out something quickly, though, as we see Stevens and then LeMasters working their way around the circuit. And, of course, curious to see what our championship competitor in the 206 Supermasters is able to do. William McLaughlin, our championship leader and winner, is still trying to fight his way through the running order as he sits third with, of course, Danny Cutshaw and Todd Stevens in first and second. But no problem for Mr. Brian Williams.
Yep, no problems at all here as we continue on with the action. Still, though, at this point, the other drivers thinking about trying to finish up their championships, of course. When we talk about things for the Legends, J. Brian Williams is already, as we said, secured that by near double. Tom Harleman being part-time this season. Right now, McLaughlin amongst those, trying to battle it out in the Supermaster grouping. He's already clinched the championship, even with drops factored in. Danny Cutshaw will end up finishing second in the championship as long as he finishes up towards the front of the class, which he's right now in position to do so. So off to a strong start for your championship leaders at the very least for these title fights here, Taylor. But it's about trying to keep yourself on the racetrack for the finish here. And right now, these drivers are keeping themselves pretty cool, calm, and collected in this rhythm.
He certainly is. Everyone's just trying to log some laps, no pressure, no issues, just continue to run their race here and hope that their kart gets a little bit more wound up and ready when it comes towards the end of this race. Looking for some long run pace for our competitors at the end of this 10 minutes.
Yep, right now they all zip around. So at this point, separations continue to build up here as, again, they're all seeing the top two just step away and pull away for the rest of the pack as they go. It's been a dominant run so far up at the point of this one as we continue to roll on through. Denny Cutshaw, great dates here today, by the way. One of the best days I think we've seen when it comes to Denny Cutshaw here at this facility for IKC competition. One of the new gen competitors that has raced for a fair amount of time at this track. So we've seen how important skills are to develop. Remember, some of these drivers are your oldest drivers on property here today. And you have a lot of experience with them. They've been racing for years upon years, Taylor. Just trying to have fun here on a weekend.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing about these competitors. They're just really out here having a good time. I mean, yes, championships, the wins, but it just gives these drivers a chance to enjoy what we all love, which is motor racing and karting. This is just a way for them to get away from the everyday chaos of the week and know that, hey, coming here, it's better than a day at the office, I would have to say.
So right now, it's looking like some of the drivers are getting a little bit antsy for moves. With that's McLaughlin amongst those trying to take some cuts alongside. Back and forth they go. We have under 5 minutes left on the board to confirm. Under 5 minutes left. McLaughlin, Stevens, now muscle swapping around here as the 56 wants to try and get a max points day to close out this weekend. Up in front now.
Minutes to go left on the clock for your race leader, and Ryan Williams has a 3.5-second lead over Tom Harleman as McLaughlin has regained control of the race lead ahead of Cutshaw and Tom Stevens to wrap up your top three in Supermasters.
Yep, you see that as they go. McLaughlin in a comfortable position now as the buffer is built up rapidly. J. Brian Williams, as we continue to go, leading up front. He was 0.6 quicker than some of the drivers last time by. Fastest lap of the race of 50.327. He's just doing J. Brian Williams things. What else can he say? This is his play place, and he's dominating it.
It really is. This is the playground for Brian Williams, and he is just absolutely an incredible talent here. And for someone to be in the Legends category to have this much pace, I kind of wish I could see him compete in the Masters and Senior category, what he would be able to do.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting end to this morning session. We switch to the PM groupings here today. Remember, later on in the day, for those going to tune in, we'll have coverage for the cadets and sportsmen who are grouped together. There is differences in speeds, though. There is differences in sliders for the classes. Some people did ask that to officials. They did confirm that one kart is faster than the other amongst that age bracket. Then you have Masters and 206s, KA Juniors and 206 Light, who are all partnered up together later on today. You also have Kid Kart, but that's not part of our coverage. You're on the broadcast side of things. Under 2 minutes to work with. Right now, the gaps continue to grow as the top runners continue to dictate the pace.
McLaughlin currently has about a 1.4 second advantage over Denny Cutshaw. Both of them, him and Williams, running record-setting lap times around the circuit with 1.5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. as it's just a matter of seeing here as we watch the battle between Tom Harleman, I believe. Nope. That is actually Sean Stevens battling it out for that second position in class.
Yep, right now, things looking steady. Tom Stevens started off the day looking like he had an opportunity to be able to hold on in front. That just hasn't developed here as lap traffic now playing a factor. That's LeMasters once was already lapped by this driver. 3 to go. 3 laps to go, a couple seconds difference up on the board. We'll see if they give him the 2 to go signal next time by with how close it was. We've seen how it was borderline on the timer a couple times here today. By the way, as things go here, Chad King is still in the conversation for a potential podium. Or rather, he is on the Legends podium, but a chance to pass top 5 overall. If he can close up an extra couple seconds on Tom Stevens. 10 seconds up on the board. Should see the 2 to go signal now, as there was a lot of time difference this time. 75. Dominating. Up at the front, double sticks in the air.
An incredible season for Brian Williams as he leads the charge, hitting down with 2 laps to go. Harleman another 7 seconds behind. So it's just a matter of just him holding on to second, getting the Legends second position in the championship as McLaughlin continues to do what he does best in leading in the Supermasters division. As Danny Cutshaw sets a personal best lap time of the race so far. And will continue to work his way through. Looking forward to seeing how every single one of these drivers will do next season when we return for IKC action on Kart Chaser in 2026.
Coming up now, final time coming through soon. Here we go on the white flag lap now. It's Cutshaw. Feeling pressure from Stevens. This is for second in Supermaster. Sliding the tires, Cutshaw. Stevens gets a better run down the front straightaway. Defensive line for Cutshaw. He takes the higher line, still for the corner. Stevens can't get the poke along. He takes a flatter line to the corners, but all things looking in control for your race leaders, the 75 and 56. Go. Coming around, final time around. Brian Williams. Another day, another win. He continues his sweeps and gets it done over Tom Harleman. That distance about 8 seconds up at the point. Also in the conversation, William McLaughlin finishing up with the Supermasters win. Gets it by a little bit closer margin, about 4 seconds. Danny Cutshaw over Tom Stevens, Chad King. Also, last in the lead lap in this one was Joseph Stevens. Chris Whitaker finished the lap down, as well as Richard LeMasters. They both will finish at the tail, Taylor. An interesting race, but some dominating runs.
Absolutely incredible drive by Brian Williams. Williams Cutshaw, congratulations to both of them, our champions in 206 Legends and 206 Supermasters. Great way to wrap up the season.
Great race to wrap up their season, absolutely. By the way, as we continue on with the action, before we get to our next grouping of drivers to confirm the championship situations unofficially, again, this is currently via the time and scoring. James Fox is mentioned winning the Micros Championship by more than 200 points. Blake Martinez picked up the championship in his class, also by more than 200 points with his second place runs here today as well. When it came to 206 medium, that was the question. Braden Heber does get that championship by less than 20 points. Evan McCorkadale is not able to point it up with the things calculated. You're looking at your results, though, for KA Senior and Masters. They're ready to go. AJ Lund, Christopher Yotze up at the front. Braden Rudder up front with Levi Wilbur. Van Dyke and Gallion, should say, in the 6th position. Santos, Raider Santos in 7th. Abram Deem starts off in 8th with Tyler Sims and Kevin Seminole around the top 10 starters today. Also up there today for that class going to be Cooper there in 11th. Lucien Lazier will start in 12th. Ryan Moore, Adam Maxwell down in 14th. Mason Ward and a disqualification light on the scales for another driver, Taylor. Lane Gibbs, after his charge, he didn't get to keep his spots. He ends up falling to 16th in the running order as a result of a DSQ.
This is going to be an exciting fight to see how this all plays out. AJ Ludd, pretty much like you said, wrapped up the championship, but I'm curious to see who can have what it takes to go and challenge him for the race win. Yotze, of course, is one to watch. Same thing with Rudder. Wilbur could have a little fun to work his way up through the running order as well, along with Santos and Galen, because there is still a hunt for the championship in the 206 category, or the KA Seniors 2nd and 3rd place in the championship.
So the field getting ready to go on its warm-up here. Let you know as soon as we can for any of the other championship situations here today. As one more time we look at the run-through. For AJ Lund, he's potentially in line for what would be another win in the finals. He's won 7 times in the finals. He's looking for what would be his 6th sweep of the season of a round. Out of those victories this campaign. So just about ready to go is AJ Lund, looking to keep his streaks going up at the point. Field ready to double up coming out of Daytona. This is our final of the morning session. Then we will switch to the PM stream. Keep in mind that the PM side of the card is expected to start here immediately for their warm-ups. They were scheduled for a 1 p.m. start today for the Indy Karting Challenge. We'll let you know that situation once we get to the qualifying. But for the drivers right now, it's time for them to speed along. Green flag is out. We're underway for the final time in the morning session. A great start up front for Yotze. Able to take the race lead from Lund. Lund drops into a battle for 2nd. Lund tries to find a way to close up as quick as possible as they continue to squabble down the backstretch.
They certainly do. Drivers jockeying for position as Rudder leads the charge, working his way through the field and has the race lead advantage. There you see AJ Lund right there sitting in 2nd. Yotze has dropped back a significant gap as everyone else, Galen, moving up into the top 3.
Yep, looking like a great start by Rudder indeed. It is in that driver who's been able to get the charge with Yotze originally getting that initial strike. Remember, Rudder had set the pole time here today, set the tone in qualifying in the last stages of the session, and now he's blocking, swerving to the middle, going back to the middle to the bottom. Rudder feeling a lot of pressures as he tries to defend hard. He's racing like it's the last lap here. The way Lund is trying to poke and prod. Lund willing to push him to see if they can break away from Yotze.
Yotze doing everything he can as here comes Lund with a big head of steam down the front straightaway. Is he going to try to find his way? He'll look to the inside. Contact as Rudder goes on the defensive. And here comes a double undercross. It's going to be a 2-for-1 special possibly for Yotze. No, but Yotze still gets the power down to hold on to 3rd.
Great battling going on at the front of the field as they swerve around. Rudder forced up the high side, tries to narrow poke. Gets the door slammed in his face by Lund as a result. Like 2 minutes through on the board, and they're racing like it's the final time around here. That's how wild this start's been so far today. Van Dyke, who is up in 2nd of the championship, by the way, He's still in the conversation here, too, amongst the race leaders. The top four have been able to break away as Lund looks to try and see if he can get some breathing room. We know how fast that 43 can get, Taylor, once you give it clean air.
It really is an absolutely amazing drive that we will see once AJ Lund gets in there and leads the charge. He's already stretched out to about a couple of kart lanes over Rudder and Utsi as they try to work their way through. Van Dyke sitting comfortable in the catbird seat, ready to make a charge if these three get to battling.
Yeah, all of them trying to find a way to keep up with Lund as quick as they can here before things separate too fast. Last time by, Yeltsin did set the fastest lap, 44.221. That time a couple hundredths quicker than Rudder, who is a couple hundredths quicker than Lund. So everybody compressing down a bit as Van Dyke has just lost touch to the draft. Last time through was 4/10 slower than the karts in front. We'll need them to squabble to have a chance to get back in drafting range. Remember, it takes about a lap for the draft to really activate. Now as they make their way through, Rudder loses ground going through Daytona. Lund's been so good in the bank curve here today, Taylor.
He certainly has. That's where he's been able to make his most speed and pick up around this circuit. He is dropping fast time after fast time, about to break the 43-second bracket, actually, as he looks his way to continue on with a head of steam. Got the gap up to about 3 kart lengths as he heads down the backstretch.
Here we go. More sends and a slow up. Lund loses ground. He went wide going out to the back straightaway corners. Rudder has now taken over the lead. Yutzi up to second as Lund has gone on the back foot. One mistake and it costs him multiple positions. All of that's while Rudder continues to try and make the upset on the day today. In his first start here this season, he's been impressive. But can he hold on for 5 more minutes? That's the hard part. But the way Yeltsin's been able to charge, we knew he was faster long run than 96 was.
Yeah, he certainly was. Yeltsin now has to go on the attack to see what he can accomplish as he puts pressure on. He'll go around the outside, but that may not be the best case because right there, look how much time AJ Lund picked up and is now going to try to challenge Yeltsin for second.
Trying as much as he can and try and find that spot now. As fast as possible here. Rudder amongst those who has spent time in the community, went to Whiteland Community High School, always loved karting, had been in originally his first track was here, competed, won a 2022 Yamaha Junior Championship in terms of his experience. He's been shuffled back now as a result of things by Yeltsin and by Lund. He's going to have to get back to work if he wants to have any sort of chance here to be able to lead once again. Yeltsin looks to run. Lund looks to reset. 4 minutes to go. Here comes the run for the 43 to try and set something up for the front stretch. Lund again on the back end. Lund looking for a place to cut. Instead, he'll wait this time by, doesn't want to rush it yet.
He's got to be careful with how much he needs to do here as they work their way around the circuit, heading up to the back half of the course, and already drivers just trying to jockey for position. Lund trying to put the pressure on Yeltsin here in the last closing minutes.
Yep, right now, Yeltsin just trying to finish the job. That's the critical part for everybody is get yourself the win, get yourself the points, get yourself the podium, get a trophy for it. But that's easier than anything else right now for a lot of these drivers here, to say the very least here. Christopher Yeltsin amongst the drivers that race a fair bit when it comes to some of the action. Races in KRA competition when it comes to NCMP. He's had solid weekends there. He's talked about running older chassis. In fact, was amongst the drivers that was looking to have the double bounty at one point with Fishers and Whiteland back in September, where if he was to win both, could have got $1,500 for that race alone a while back. He's continuing to try and march forward here today. Try and get this final win of the season with less than 3 minutes to go. Lund still not able to get a run yet. Here comes Lund. He sends it up the inside. Lund parks it out of one. AJ Lund takes it away from the 96.
AJ Lund now back up in front of the field and ready to try and go on the defensive. But here comes Yahtzee. He tried to show the nose, sends it in, not able to do anything. Rudder ready to also put his foot in the gas to try to find his way back up towards the front of the field. Out of the hairpin, Lund just hitting his marks as Yahtzee looks to try to put the pressure on as they climb the banking of Daytona.
Pressure is on to be able to get an air send down as Lund. He's ran away a couple times already. The one time that closed up, the mistake came from him. Second spot, Rudder sends it up the inside. One of the 2024 regulars here at NCMP. Able to jump to second spot. 90 seconds to work with on the board. And now it's going to take a bit of effort here with that pass Rudder just took to close back in, get those rudders out to go into battle station mode.
Watching on here as they have a minute to go, so you're looking at right around 5 laps to go, maybe 4 laps to go for your drivers as Lund stretches out that race lead. Rudder has the pace. He was a little bit off, about a 10th off behind AJ Lund, but now that he's got a little bit of clean air ahead of Yahtzee, he can try to see what he can do to chase the competitors.
Yeah, right now it's going to take a lot of effort to get this chipped away, as they're going to have about 3 laps to go on their seasons when we get to the stripe. About 3 to go. 30 seconds are now on the board this moment. There they go as they work their way forward. Right now, Lund in a comfortable position to get himself another win. Would be back-to-back wins on the season. His longest stretch of wins had been 3 rounds in a row with wins in the finals. He went on several hot streaks on the way to a championship in 2025. Can he close it out? Rudders in the draft. Runners on the doorstep.
Here they come up the Daytona banking once again with 2 laps to go in the season for the KA seniors. Across the front straightaway, popsicle sticks in the air. Rudder is closing. He was half a second faster than AJ Lund last time by, and he is putting the pressure on the Top Kart USA driver. It is a head-to-head battle of the Titans here as far as teams at Whiteland. Top Kart, MPG about to lock horns and do battle in the closing laps.
Final lap and a half on their seasons here. Lund trying to find a way to park it. Can he get it to victory lane for one final time? Coming to the white flag here, Rudder will need a deep send to try and go after it. Rudder trying to build up the run. Defensive for Lund. He feels the pressure. Rudder goes for the crossover from the outside. Now tries to switch it up out of 2. Now looks to the outside for 3. Now looks to diamond it out for the back straightaway. Lund now swerves to the middle. Rudder gets to the back bumper. Doesn't get the poke down yet. Can he pressurize a mistake from the 43 in the last stretch of the race? You'll see in the popcorn seat if things bubble over. Through Daytona, Rudder trying the high line. That hasn't worked for anybody today. This time he tries to build a run for the front straightaway. It's not enough. It's Lund who takes the win over Rudder. Yahtzee in third. Van Dyke and Ward get top 5s to close out their campaigns in the KA senior class and the Masters. 6th went to Gibbs. Mort 7th. In fact, switch lane Gibbs down to 6th to 7th. In fact, by 2/100ths of a second. Dean, Gallion, Raider, Santos, the top 10, Sims, Semenelek, Edar, and Wilbur finishes as a DNF as part of our morning sessions. What a stretch, Taylor. And just like that, our first half of the day is complete.
Absolutely. An incredible day of racing here in the morning session. And we'll, of course, give our chances for everyone, our officials, along with everyone else, to get ready for the afternoon session. We'll take about a little bit of a break before we come back for qualifying for our afternoon classes. Justin's been an incredible morning session. Congratulations to all of our champions here today, as we want to check right quick on a couple of them. The 206 senior medium category, well, it looks like they're giving the championship to Braden Heber for winning the championship this season. An incredible drive for him. So great way to wrap up the season.
As mentioned, that was just before the grid for this one. 18 points. Jordan Lapham is officially got on the 206 Junior Championship as well. That's been officially categorized. Other championships are still being tabulated. But we'll take a break for now. We'll be back. Estimated time 1:30. We'll see you soon when we go back racing. You're watching today's coverage of IKC, the Indy Karting Challenge on Kart Chaser.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself, quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I went to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
That's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all of the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental kart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to Indy Kart and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix! James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars!
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.